How's it going, guys? My name is Ibanez, and you might have heard of me before from either my YouTube channel or Smogon. I've been doing competitive battling for almost a year now, and GGengar contacted me and told me about this channel, so I decided to upload a battle for you guys. And in contrast to the past two battles, I'm going to be using Clear Skies, and my opponent's going to be using a Rain team. And the main thing that I want to watch out for is Rotom Wash and Scizor, because we both have Rotom Wash and Scizor, but as you know, Volt Turn is extremely irritating, and if my Virizion gone, they can pretty much just Volt Turn all over the place, and that can be extremely annoying. So yeah, Rotom Wash and Scizor could be a problem. I just gotta make the right moves. And let's just get into the battle. So I'm battling my friend Xerlander. We talk on Skype a lot. And unfortunately, though, he doesn't have a YouTube, so I won't be able to link him. I've been trying to convince him to get a YouTube, but I don't know, he just doesn't want one. So he's going to lead off with this Politoed to get up the rain. Since I am running Clear Skies, he won't have to worry about a weather war. And he's going to switch into his Ferrothorn to take the Volt switch. And because Xerlander and I battle a lot, we both know each other's style of play pretty well. We play pretty conservatively. We don't like taking too many risks. Of course, if we need to take a risk, then we're definitely going to do it, but in general, it's best to save your Pokemon and leave them as high health as possible. So instead of staying in on the fire attack, because obviously he can live one since it is in rain, he's just going to switch out into his Tentacruel. And the reason why I went for Stealth Rock, even though his Tentacruel is still alive, is because I can make him waste a turn to Rapid Spin. So he's just going to go for the Scald. I was either predicting that or Rapid Spin, so I just went out into Rotom. And he's actually going to get the burn, which is pretty unfortunate, but it's not that big of a deal because I am running the Chesto Rest set, so I can always rest off that burn later. It's just going to force me to rest a couple turns earlier than I would have to. So I go for the Volt Switch, and it does about half to this Tentacruel, which tells me that he's probably more physically defensive. So I'm going to go into my Virizion because I know he's probably just going to go for the Rapid Spin here, since he probably predicted me to just go for the Volt Switch and switch out, so that's why he went for the Rapid Spin. And I'm going to go for the Swords Dance here. And there was two things that I was kind of relying on, either him to go for the Scald and not get the burn, or set up a layer of Toxic Spikes on me, and he actually ends up going for the Toxic Spikes. So I guess that kind of works out in my favor, because I really could not afford to get this thing burned. So I'm just going to go for the Leaf Blade, and as I said, I did think that he was more physically defensive, but I guess he is more specially defensive because my Rotom is modest max special attack. So a +2 Leaf Blade is actually going to take it out. And he's going to bring in his Dragonite. I do have the Stone Edge, and I actually do hit, fortunately for me. But because of the multi-scale, it's only going to do a little bit over half. And he's going to be able to set up a Dragon Dance on me. And as you know, Dragon Dance D-Knight is a pretty big threat to a ton of teams. And I can't really afford to have this thing sweep me. So I'm actually just going to leave in my Virizion to pretty much die, since I really didn't want to switch out. So he's going to be able to take me out with the Dragon Claw, and then he's going to be able to heal off some damage with leftovers, but it's no big deal as long as his multi-scale isn't intact. So now I can go out into my Heatran knowing that he really can't hit me with anything other than Dragon Claw or Outrage. So he's just going to go for the Dragon Claw, and it's not going to do a whole lot, and I'm actually going to be able to take him out with the Hidden Power Ice. Normally Xerlander would have switched there, but I guess he really didn't see the Hidden Power Ice coming. Not really sure, but oh well. That thing was a pretty big threat. So now he's going to be able to send in his Rotom, and as I said in the team preview, Rotom is a problem. So I just go into my own Rotom, and he's actually going to end up going for the Hydro Pump, and that does a huge amount of damage because it is in rain. And here, I'm hoping that he's not Scarfed, and it turns out he's not Scarfed. So now I can go for the rest and heal off the damage from earlier in the battle, and I'll be back up to full health, and with the Chesto Berry I'll be awake as well, and he's just going to end up going for the Volt Switch. So that tells me that he's probably either running the Chesto Rest set like me, or he's just running leftovers, something like that. So he's going to switch out into his Ferrothorn, and I do have the Will-O-Wisp, and that's actually what I'm going to go for. And fortunately I hit. That probably would have been bad if I didn't hit. So he's going to go for the Gyro Ball. He probably predicted my Volt Switch out into something else. Not really sure what, but, you know. So now I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch this time, because I don't want to take a power whip. Even if he is burned, that's going to do a massive amount of damage to my Rotom. So I'm just going to bring in my Heatran this time, and he is going to end up going for the power whip this time around. And he actually misses, but that's not really that big of a deal because it's 4 times resisted and he's burned. That probably would have done like 20 damage. Probably less, actually. So here, I'm going to pull a double switch out into my Rotom, predicting either his Politoed or his Rotom to come in. And he's going to end up bringing out his Politoed, and that's completely fine. And this time, he's just going to be forced to switch out again, as I'm going to go for the Volt Switch. So we're kind of playing mind games with each other right now, and, you know, none of us really knows what's going on. So I'm going to go out into my Scizor this time, and now what I'm going to do is he's going to take the burn damage, of course, and I'm going to go for the U-turn, and I'm going to end up switching out. Well, he's going to hit me with the Iron Barbs first, of course, and I'm going to end up switching out into Rotom. And if you're wondering why I went straight into Rotom, because I had my Scizor in, I knew that there was no way he was going to go for a Power Whip because it's 4 times resisted and the burn. So there was absolutely no way he would have gone for the Power Whip right there. I expected him to either Leech Seed or just set up some hazards. So that's why I switched straight out into Rotom. And judging by the damage from earlier, I was worried that Volt Switch wouldn't be able to KO, so I'm actually just going to go for the Hydro Pump to take out his Ferrothorn. And that's going to be a Ferrothorn out of the way. And now he's going to bring out his own Rotom, and I know that Volt Switch or Hydro Pump can't KO me, so I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch, but I forgot I outsped. And that's kind of problematic because now I'm going to be giving him Switch Initiative as I go out into my Reuniclus this time, and he's going to go for his own Volt Switch, actually. And now we're at the point in the battle where Volt Turn really starts to show, because I believe he only has 3 Pokemon left, if I'm correct. His Scizor, his Politoed, and his Rotom. And that's a pretty annoying core, if you ask me. So I'm going to switch out into my Landorus here, as he's just going to go for the U-turn. That's why I switched out into Landorus, just to take that U-turn. And it turns out he's banded, so I guess that's good information to know. And now he's going to bring out his Politoed. So as you can see, he's pretty much going to be forcing switches the whole time, and I really can't do much about it. And this U-turn does a lot more than I expected. So And he hasn't even shown me what this set is the whole game. So now I know this thing is probably Scarfed. And now I send in my Reuniclus, and this Hydro Pump does a huge amount to my Reuniclus. I barely live the thing. So now I'm pretty much going to be forced to Death Fodder my Reuniclus. But I guess he didn't want to risk the Hydro Pump miss, because he's actually going to bring out his Scizor on my Psychic. So I guess that's alright, but I would kind of agree with him because, yeah, missing a Hydro Pump right there could have been costly. So I'm going to be forced to Death Fodder my Reuniclus, and the score is 4-3 right now. I'm ahead, but with his last 3 Pokemon at decent health, it's going to be really annoying to beat him with this Volt Turn going around. So he's going to bring in his Rotom, and all of his Pokemon are about 3/4 of health. And I'm just going to send out my own Rotom. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the riskiest play you are ever going to see me make. I am banking on the fact that he goes for Volt Switch, so I can bring out my Landorus. If he goes for the Hydro Pump, I'm going to lose the battle. But he goes for the Volt Switch, and I still have a chance. You're never going to see me do that again, but in order for me to even have a chance of pulling off a win, I needed to do that. So now I can just U-turn out and bring in my Rotom again, predicting the Hydro Pump, and he's going to go for the Hydro Pump, as I said. And the Hydro Pump does a lot because it's in rain, but I'm just barely able to live. And because I outspeed, I know I'll be able to take it out with a Volt Switch. So I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch. And yeah, the reason why I had to send in Landorus was the U-turn was going to be able to do enough to the point where my Rotom would be able to take it out with Volt Switch, and I really had nothing else to switch into. So that is really risky. So now he's going to send out his Politoed, and I have to go for the Earthquake here, hoping it KOs, but the Politoed just barely lives and hits me with the Hydro Pump. So now I'm going to lose my Landorus. And now I can't really U-turn. No, I still have Rotom and Scizor. So I'm going to send out my Scizor and just go for the Bullet Punch, because I know it's going to take out the Politoed, since it has like 10 HP or something. And he's down to his last Pokemon, which is Scizor, and I can't really KO it with Bullet Punch. So I'm going to switch out into my Rotom as Death Fodder, pretty much to just die to whatever he goes for. He does end up going for the superpower, and that's fine because now he's going to get an attack and defense drop, which tells me that my Scizor is probably, even if it doesn't outspeed, it's still going to take it out. So I'm going to outspeed, and I'm going to go for the superpower, and that is going to be Good Game Xerlander. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll definitely have to post another one of our battles in the future. And subscribe to StrategiCentre if you haven't already. Come check out my channel if you want, and I will see you guys later.